Am I the asshole for not wanting my daughter to wear heels to a wedding because she will look taller than me? My 44 male, daughter, 16 female, has always been a nice girl that is a little shy and never causes any trouble. She is great at school and very talented in many activities. She has a group of like-minded, trustworthy friends, but has never been involved with boys or goes to parties late at night. My wife's niece is getting married, and she asked my daughter to be one of her bridesmaids. I thought she was maybe a little too young for that, but ultimately, I didn't protest. The issue is that as a part of her attire for the wedding, she is expected to wear high heel shoes. I'm only 5'6" tall, and I have a deep trauma related to my height because of all the bullying that I suffered for years at the hands of my brothers with the approval of my now deceased father. I only started to get better after finishing college. It took me years of therapy and going no contact with almost all of my family to be able to mostly leave it all behind. They fully made me believe that no woman would ever like a man as short as me, to the point I never had a romantic relationship until I met my wife at 25. But I'm not still fully in control of my emotions related to this issue. In particular, I've never been able to stop the phobia I have towards women that are taller than me. My wife is 5'4" tall, and my daughter is currently 2 inches taller than her mother. That makes her almost exactly the same height as me. I never expected her to be so tall, but I have been able to remain mostly calm about it. I think knowing her since she was a baby and watching her grow myself helped my brain to humanize her and not seeing her now as I see other tall girls. Since she stopped growing a couple of years ago, I've been silently preventing my daughter to wear heels or any kind of shoes that make her appear taller than me. There has been no real problem with this because she has never had any serious interest in wearing those things until this wedding situation. I know that even just seeing her in front of me with heels, being taller than me, would be triggering to the point of making me cry, if not worse. All this will be especially terrible in a big family event like a wedding. Everyone will think that she is taller than me, and I rationally know most people won't care, but I think I might really have a panic attack from the embarrassment that will be happening in my mind. I tried to convince her not to wear the heels, but this time she really wants to and is not interested in what I have to say. My wife thinks that if it is such a problem for me, I should just not go to the wedding, but I think that is unfair. I don't like feeling excluded, and this would be practically as if they did exclude me because of height, which would feel especially painful for me. I've been talking to both of them about this, but it has proven useless. And now they have even started to act tired and angry anytime I bring up this subject. My daughter in particular says I'm making her feel bad and not allowing her to enjoy being a bridesmaid. Am I the asshole?
I think the wife is right. I feel like I understand there's a deep, deep trauma, because if it takes distancing from your family and this much therapy to get as far as you have, then I respect that there's been some serious trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no one's here to judge how, bad someone's trauma is. But really, if I look at just this situation, I don't think there's a world where she doesn't go without heels.
The rest of her life?
Right.
No chance.
Especially for this kind of event where it was, it's pointed out.
Yeah.
It's not like she's all of a sudden being like, oh, I'd like to wear heels for this. It's like, no, that's literally a requirement. So,
well, and a lot of brides would require that.
Yeah.
Like that's some bride, you never know what bridezilla you're dealing with.
That's right. And so again, for this trauma to still be this present, there may be some more therapy needed, because you're also compromising kind of the rest of your life dealing with this forever. I know a lot of people who have had that insecurity. Everyone, works through it in their own ways. But I think when it starts to negatively impact the people around you and you need people to greatly compensate just for, your insecurities and your trauma,
mm-hmm.
There's an interesting balance here, but I think that it shouldn't, restrict others from living their lives.
Yeah. Well, and it's so negatively impacting his life. His daughter's every single day. And his daughter is 16. She could continue growing for years to come. And so if this is something that's going to impact and negatively impact his love for his daughter to the point where
Yes.
he can't even look at her, to the point where he's like repulsed that she's taller. I mean, you have to address that. It is past a point of like just ignoring and avoiding tall people. Like, you really need to address this.
Right. Because this event isn't the end all. This
No.
isn't the one last thing and then you're done. This is just putting it in the spotlight for you.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of an asshole thing to say, no, you can't do this. And you're starting to put these restrictions on other people for yourself.
Yeah.
And it really is a self problem. It's I'm sure you've made a lot of progress, but there's a lot more progress to be made. And it's clear through the way this is written.
Yeah, and what OP went through is horrible. Like, your brothers, your own family being your biggest bullies.
Well, and right, imagine being a young guy and you're basically, from the get-go, you're basically thinking, I'm never going to live the normal life. I'm not going to get like the person of my dreams. I'm not going to get all of these normal things because you've been bullied so heavily into just thinking your life is screwed forever.
Yeah, I mean, his family essentially pounded into him that he's unlovable because he's short, which is short, tall, whatever you look like, there's someone out there for you. And it's just like, I think it is really hard. There is, especially with social media, there is like this narrative that gets pushed sometimes that like, oh, 5'11" is the shortest guy I date. Like, there is.
Well, it's still very present. It definitely is.
Yeah, there's definitely like stereotypes or messages out there that short guys especially have it harder dating. And I think short guys might, if you are a shorter dude that's listening, you might be able to respond and say, yeah, it has been harder dating. But I wouldn't get discouraged from that. I think it's more so about your confidence. Like, I've seen so many couples on TikTok that like the girl is 6'1" and the guy's 5'8" or something like that. And there's a big height disparity. And it's finding your person. And if someone doesn't like you because you're shorter than them or not their height requirement,
then they're not the right
person.
Yeah.
And fuck them. And if anyone bullies you, like this guy's family, really fuck them. Height isn't something you can control.
Yeah, right.
Do you know how long I've wished for just 2 more inches? Just, some of us are not blessed vertically. It just,
Well, and his daughter might have that gene that skipped a generation. Up she goes.
I don't get it. Both of my brothers are tall. It just like was me. Just like the girl genes. Just whatever. But
that is really the problem here.
Yeah.
The problem is the how the family bullied him and pushed him to be like this.
Yeah.
That is really the worst part of this whole thing.
It really is. I can't even imagine your family and especially your dad letting your brothers just hound you again and again and again. You're unlovable. No one's ever going to love you because you're short.
I just think when it starts to come to people around you, especially your family and your daughter, who's going through, I would say 16 is a very transformative time. It's a very impactful time. Like every little thing, right? Especially with appearance.
Yeah.
I think that's where the line gets drawn. It just can't be a thing. And it can be for you, but that's for you to work out. It's just, she's got to do what she wants.
Yeah. And you think about it too, like this is just her being a bridesmaid. But what about when it comes to her wedding? Or what about when it comes to wearing heels when she goes to prom her senior year? And
father-daughter dance.
You just never know. And I just think it's something that is going to continue to come up in your life. And if it was something that never affected him, like a fear of snakes, that would be irrelevant. He doesn't encounter snakes on a daily basis, but he's likely encountering people, and he seems to be extra triggered by women that are taller than him on a daily basis. And so I think continued therapy would be really, really helpful here.
Well, yeah, I would hope to see him progress. It would be amazing to see him get to the point where he can own it, if that's even possible. I mean, I think about one of our friends, Josh Sadowski. He came on our other show, and I don't remember what the conversation was, but he was like, yeah, short kings.
I love Josh. He's so cute.
I know. Every time he texts me, he goes, "Hey, King." I'm just like, it's so simple, but it's so empowering. Like, and also with this guy, you can surround yourself with people that just make you feel good in your own skin. I mean, they're out there.
They are.
And just, I can't imagine like how the family trauma must cling on to you, and it's hard to get rid of that. But
yeah,
there's definitely some, sunshine and blue sky ahead.
For sure. And Reddit, there's some comments that seem like very just mean towards him. And I really hate that. Like, you have someone that's opening up and being vulnerable and talking about their trauma. And yet there's a lot of people on this thread that really just kind of tore him down even further.
Yeah, it's not the time for that.
No, and there's some positive comments too. I'll let you decide which you think they are based on what I read.
Sure.
The top one with almost 7,000 upvotes is "You're the asshole. I'm taller than my dad, and even though it looks a little off since he is the dad and I'm the daughter, if I want to wear my high heels, he would never stop me.
Right.
Get some more therapy to work on this issue and don't project it on your daughter."
Yeah.
And someone else goes after that. "I'm so glad my dad never put this crap on me. I'm at least 3 inches taller than him and wore 5-inch heels with my wedding dress. My dad still spun me and dipped, even threw in a lift for our daddy-daughter dance. He never made me embarrassed of my height and never seemed to care about this. After all, dynamite comes in small boxes." Which that's cute.
See, and that's what I hope for this. That's what, like, that, if we could follow up somehow years down the line, that would be so amazing to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the asshole that much to where you're an asshole forever. It's just an asshole thought, right?
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think you are an asshole overall. It's just an asshole kind of like idea.
In that situation specifically.
Exactly.
Absolutely. One of the other comments I'm seeing that kind of leads to a red box award is "He needs massive amounts of therapy. You can't control if your daughter wears heels or not. I'm extremely tall and still wear heels to formal events because they make me look and feel good.
Right.
Your internal issues should not be projected on your loved ones. You're the asshole." And this is the red box awarded one. Agreed. The comment about only being able to humanize his daughter because he saw her grow up and doesn't see her like other tall girls is concerning. Get some help, OP. Girls and women over 5'6" aren't out to get you. We're not some monolith of evil. You're the asshole. But this is a treatable issue. Maybe not in time for the wedding, but doable in the long run. I'd advise you to skip the wedding altogether if it's going to re-traumatize you.
Well, and another thought too is if his daughter does continue to get taller, you don't want to start this insecurity in her mind that she now carries forward for the rest of her life, thinking she's too tall. And now, she's at the other end of it, but now you have spread this to the next generation.
That is true.
That's something to be really cautious with. That's why I was mentioning, like, at 16, very impressionable. One sentence can change someone's life at that age. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you're very sensitive.
Oh my gosh. It was something I was talking to someone about this and I was like, it was just another Wednesday to you. But for me, it was like, it was traumatic.
Right.
Like, it sticks with me forever. And
you never know what those will be.
You never know what moment that is for other people. This is the last comment I'll read. You're the asshole. Your past trauma about your height should not be heaped upon your daughter. It's not her responsibility to protect your ego. And this is the one that I'm like, it's not, I don't think this is about ego for him. I think there are some people that like might overcompensate for certain things. And hey, if you feel you have to overcompensate for whatever reason, you feel less than, like, I'm sorry you feel you have to do that. You absolutely don't. You can be yourself. But whatever, like, you do you. But I don't think in this case this is about his ego. This really feels like it is because of past trauma, and more so like he just needs an intervention of like more therapy.
Yeah, I heard more about like he's scared to kind of dip back into that trauma and have a breakdown in public than he is to necessarily like be like, oh, I'm going to be the best looking, like it. I don't know.
No, there is no ego here. I feel like ego in a sense implies confidence, and I'm going to Google ego.
Kind of does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like ego, a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. And he has the exact opposite here. He doesn't have any confidence. He's insecure about his height. It's not about ego here.
Yeah. It's tricky. I mean, words, you can make play on words with whatever.
Or maybe the daughter not wearing heels helps his ego and helps him feel more secure. So
Sure.
maybe it is about ego. I don't know. I pronounce ruin wrong, so whatever.
That was good.
I've been practicing.
That was really good. Do you stand in front of the mirror and repeat it?
Sometimes. It's just really hard. I have a hard time with ruining. Ruining. It feels harder to say that than
It's
ruining.
like a bumpy road.
Yeah, I can say like ruin, but like ruining, it just
one
hard.
step at a time.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
There weren't any comments from OP though, just so we all know. And no update so far. 2 months ago-ish. So we'll see if anything happens with the wedding.
Update in 10 years. That's what I want.
Yeah.
10. Yeah, 10. Yeah.
I let my daughter wear heels at her wedding.
And we had the best father-daughter dance.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if the podcast is still going in 10 years? It probably will be. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.